So far, we have been studying gradient, divergence, and curl by looking at how to calculate them and how to interpret their meaning. And that's all fine and well, but now we have to move on to this final section of the chapter, which has this rather long name, potentials and conservative / irrotational / solenoidal fields. This section is quite long, but it's also very important, okay? It will have many subsections, and in these subsections we will see why it is that it's so important to understand the concepts of gradient, divergence, and curl in physics. So why are these concepts so relevant to real physical fields, okay? So our first stop is to talk about the concept of conservative fields and potentials, and this will be related to the gradient. So let me start with a definition. Many fields in physics, for example, the gravitational field, physics, e.g. gravitational, also the electrostatic field, have a very special property. And the special property is the following. I can write it down here. So the vector field F, this is our vector field, for example, the gravitational field or the electrostatic field, is equal to the minus gradient of a scalar field. So this is the minus gradient. And this is a scalar field. This scalar field is called the potential field. Okay? If you are wondering about this minus sign, just know that this is a convention that we follow in physics, but it doesn't have any mathematical relevance. We could have defined it as a plus sign, which means that we would just have to redefine our scalar field to have the opposite sign, okay? But in physics, we always take this as the minus gradient of the potential. So this is really interesting because it means that this vector field, which if you think about it, contains a lot of information, right? Because you have the x component, which is a function of position, the y component, which is a function of position, and the z component, which is a function of position. So it's almost as if a vector field is composed of 3 scalar fields, right? It has the information equivalent to 3 scalar fields corresponding to each of its components. And yet, it turns out that for these special types of fields, you can obtain all of these 3 components from a single scalar field, okay? So a single scalar field, which is only one field. So this is interesting. It's almost as if you could compress the information of the vector field into much less information, which is the information contained in the scalar field, which is the potential. This means that the 3 components of this vector field must somehow be related because they kind of contain the same information, okay? They contain the information from a scalar field, okay? So whenever this happens, this vector field is called conservative field. Conservative fields. Or they are also called fields derived from a potential. Which kind of is a very descriptive label, right? So the gravitational field is a field derived from a potential because it can be derived from the gravitational potential. The electrostatic field is a field derived from a potential because it can be derived from the electrostatic potential. And the way to derive the field from the potential is simply to apply the gradient and then flip the sign. Okay? So in following videos, we will study why this is very relevant in physics and what are the consequences of this. But before that, I will do as a problem about calculating the gravitational field starting from the gravitational potential. So see you in the next video.